Dearest, hello dearest, how are you? Last time we have seen nerves, ganglia, and cervical plexus and brachial plexus and sympathetic ganglia. In this part or part 2, we will see about the left one, the lumbar plexus and sacral plexus. So follow attentively. This is the lumbar plexus. Lumbar plexus is formed by anterior rami of spinal nerves from lumbar 1 to lumbar 4 and some portion of T12. So lumbar plexus is lie in the or located in the psoas major muscle. So the nerves that arise from the lumbar plexus innervate the structures of the lower parts of the abdomen, as well as anterior and medial portion of the lower extremity. So lumbar plexus is from lumbar 1 up to lumbar 4 and some portion of T12. So supplies abdomen into the lower extremity. So let us see the branches. It is proximal branches. Its proximal branch innervates the parts of abdominal and iliopsoas muscle. Major branch of the plexus descend to innervate the medial and anterior part of the thigh, because posterior part of the thigh and other part is supplied by sacral plexus. So there are branches of lumbar plexus. The one is iliohypogastric nerve, ilioinguinal nerve, genitofemoral nerve 3, lateral cutaneous nerve of the thigh 4, the femoral nerve 5, and obturator nerve 6. So from this one, ilioinguinal nerve is arise from the lumbar 1, which is main nerve, and ilioinguinal nerve is from lumbar 1, collateral nerve. Genitofemoral is arise from the C1 and C2. Lateral cutaneous nerve of the thigh is arise from C2 and C3, and femoral nerve, obturator nerve, we will see. Femoral nerve is posterior division, whereas obturator nerve is anterior division. So we will see it. So this is lumbar 1. This is roots and divisions. Lumbar plexus and sacral plexus have both divisions and roots. So from this division, lumbar 1 gives branch for iliohypogastric nerve and gives another branch to ilioinguinal nerve, and genitofemoral is arise from lumbar 1 and lumbar 2, and lateral cutaneous nerve is arise from lumbar 2 and lumbar 3, and obturator nerve is arise from lumbar 2, lumbar 3, lumbar 4, but it is anterior division, whereas the largest one is and extensive muscle is femoral nerve. Femoral nerves arise from lumbar 2, lumbar 3, lumbar 4, but posterior branch, whereas lumbar 4 and lumbar 5 gives lumbosacral trunk. This picture is a very interesting picture. This one is the lumbar 1. Lumbar 1 gives 2 branches. Here the one is iliohypogastric branch or main nerve, and this one is ilioinguinal nerve or collateral branch. So lumbar 1 will give 2 branches, and genitofemoral nerve will arise from lumbar 1 and arise from lumbar 2 and gives genitofemoral nerve, and also lateral cutaneous of the nerve is arise from lumbar 2 and arise from lumbar 3 is lateral cutaneous of the thigh, and this the posterior division, this arise from lumbar 3, lumbar 4, lumbar 2, lumbar 3, lumbar 4. Posterior division is known as femoral nerve, whereas arise from lumbar 2, lumbar 3, lumbar 4 from anterior division will form as obturator nerve, and lumbosacral trunk is arise from lumbar 4 and lumbar 5. So this is shows us how this lumbar plexus nerves exiting from the psoas major muscle. So this is psoas major muscle. So the only muscle that pierces psoas major muscles anteriorly is called genitofemoral nerve, whereas this one is lumbosacral trunk, this one is obturator nerve. So lumbosacral trunk and obturator nerve is exit on the medial side of the psoas major muscle, whereas femoral nerve, lateral cutaneous nerve of the thigh, or lateral femoral cutaneous nerve, or ilioinguinal, iliohypogastric, all are emerge from the lateral side of the psoas major muscle. Emerge from the lateral side of the psoas major muscle. And nerves from the lumbar plexus. So the one nerve is iliohypogastric nerve. This nerve supplies the skin of inguinal region. Ilioinguinal nerve supplies the skin on the medial side of the thigh, as well as scrotum if it is male, and labia majora if she is female. So the third type of nerve is genitofemoral nerve. This emerges from anterior surface of psoas major, or in another word, pierces the anterior surface of the psoas major muscle. Genitofemoral nerve supplies cremasteric muscle via genital branch, and supplies the small area under inguinal ligament by femoral branch. In another way, genitofemoral nerve will have two branches, genital branch and femoral branch. Lateral cutaneous nerve of the thigh emerges from the lateral border of psoas major, not only lateral like femoral, and will emergence on the lateral border of psoas, leaves the abdomen by passing under inguinal ligament. So femoral nerve is large and emerging from the lateral border of psoas major muscle, give muscular branch or motor branch to quadriceps femoris. Quadriceps femoris means rectus femoris, includes rectus femoris, vastus lateralis, vastus intermedius, and vastus medialis. Sartorius, pectineus, and iliacus muscle are supplied by the motor branch of femoral nerve, whereas the skin on the anterior and medial thigh, and the skin on the medial leg, and the skin on the medial foot is supplied by cutaneous or sensory branch of the femoral nerve. So obturator nerve emerges from the medial border of psoas major near the brim of the pelvis with the lumbosacral trunk, and leaves the pelvis by passing through the superior part of obturator foramen. The muscular branch will give into adductor magnus, adductor longus, brevis, and gracilis, whereas the sensory branch will give into the skin on the medial side of the thigh. So this is the lumbar plexus, as we have seen before. So the last plexus is from the main plexuses. The last one is sacral plexus. This is formed by the ventral rami of spinal nerves from lumbar 4 up to sacral 4. Similar to lumbar plexus, the sacral plexus has both roots and divisions. Nerves from sacral plexus, nerves from sacral plexus: superior gluteal nerve 1, inferior gluteal nerve 2, pudendal nerve 3, sciatic nerve 4. So we do have 4 branches. The superior gluteal nerve will give muscular branch to the, or motor branch to the gluteus medius, gluteus minimus, and tensor fascia lata. So inferior gluteal nerve will give muscular branch to gluteus maximus muscle, and this one is sacral plexus, arise from lumbar 4, lumbar 5, S1, S2, S3, and S4. This is the blue one is root, and this is division. So this one is gives us superior gluteal nerve. This one is lumbosacral nerve from lumbar 4 to lumbar 5. This is one is inferior gluteal nerve. This is common fibular nerve. This is tibia. In general, this is sciatic nerve, the thickest and the longest nerve in the body. And this is a pudendal nerve, and this is a posterior femoral cutaneous nerve of the thigh, and this is sciatic nerve. So this is the sciatic nerve, the longest one. It will divide into common fibular nerve and tibial nerve. So pudendal nerve is a very important nerve next to the sciatic nerve. They are too extensive. Pudendal nerve supplies most of the skin and muscles of perineum area and external anal sphincter plus external ureteral sphincter. So supplies most of skin and muscle of perineum and external anal sphincter and external ureteral sphincter, supplied by pudendal nerve, and it's important for sexual activity. And the fourth one is sciatic nerve. Sciatic nerve is the thickest, the longest nerve in our body, and sciatic nerve will divide into two branches. The one is tibial nerve, the other is common preonal nerve or common fibular nerve. So the tibial nerve will give a muscular branch to the back of the thigh muscles. The back of the thigh muscles are hamstring muscles like semitendinous muscle, semimembranous, and from biceps femoris, the long head of biceps femoris, and hamstring part of adductor magnus is supplied by gain motor branch from the muscular, gain motor branch from tibial nerve, and also muscles of back of the leg. That muscle of back of the leg also supplied by tibial nerve, like gastrocnemius, soleus, plantaris, tibialis posterior, flexor digitorum longus, flexor hallucis longus, and intrinsic muscles of the foot. And cutaneous branch of tibial nerve supplies the skin of posterior surface of the leg and posterior surface of the sole of the foot, is supplied by tibial nerve. Common fibular or preonal nerve having muscular branch, that is two short heads of biceps femoris muscle, because long heads of biceps femoris muscle is supplied by tibial nerve. So common fibular or preonal nerve is will divide into deep preonal nerve and superficial preonal nerve. So the extensor muscles like tibialis anterior, extensor hallucis longus, extensor hallucis brevis, extensor digitorum longus, and extensor digitorum brevis, these all are supplied by deep preonal nerve, whereas preonal muscles like preonus brevis and preonus longus is supplied by superficial preonal nerve. So the skin of the anterior and lateral leg and dorsum of the foot is supplied by cutaneous branch. So this is about the common fibular preonal nerve. So the coccygeal, the last, by the way, we do have four types of plexus. The one is cervical plexus, the other is brachial plexus, the third is lumbar plexus, the fourth is sacral plexus, but the last not common plexus is coccygeal plexus. It's a small network of nerve fibers formed by anterior rami of S4 and S5 and coccygeal nerves. So this is a coccygeal plexus. Finally, this is a picture of sacral plexus. This is lumbar 1 and lumbar 5, and this is the green one is anterior division, and the yellow one is posterior division, and this one is roots from L4 up to S4, and this is thickest nerve this is sciatic nerve, and this one is superior gluteal nerve, and this one is inferior gluteal nerve. This is nerve to piriformis muscle. So this is tibial nerve, this is fibular nerve, this one is nerve to quadratus femoris and inferior gemellus muscles. This is nerve to obturator internus and superior gemellus muscles. This is posterior femoral cutaneous nerve. This is for perforating cutaneous nerve. This nerve is for pudendal nerve. This is pudendal nerve, and this is nerve to levator ani and coccygeal muscles. This is a perineal branch of sacral nerve. So this is gray rami communicantus. This is lumbosacral trunk, and this is pelvic sprankling nerve. And this is how sacral and lumbar plexus will emerge and how pass into the pelvis. And this is how pudendal nerves go, and in obturator foramen obturator nerve will pass. And the last one is this table. Let us see this table, because it is very detailed and very important. Sciatic nerve is arise from lumbar 4, lumbar 5, S1 and S2 and S3. and distribution of sciatic nerve is gives articular branch to hip joint, muscular branch to flexors of the knee in the thigh, and all muscles in the leg and all muscles in the foot is supplied by sciatic nerve. Superior gluteal nerve is arise from lumbar 4, lumbar 5 and sacral 1, gives branch or distribution to it will be distributed into gluteus medius muscle, gluteus minimus muscle, and nerve to quadratus femoris and inferior gemellus arise from lumbar 4, lumbar 5 and sacral 1, and it will supply quadratus femoris and inferior gemellus muscle. Inferior gluteal is arise from lumbar 5, sacral 1 and sacral 2, and will supply gluteus maximus. Nerve to obturator internus and superior gemellus arise from lumbar 5, sacral 1 and sacral 2, and will supply into obturator internus and superior gemellus muscle. Nerve to preformis will arise from the S1 and S2 and will supply preformis muscle. Posterior cutaneous nerve of the thigh arise from S2 and S3 and gives distribution or will supply into supplies cutaneous branch to the buttock and uppermost medial and posterior surface of the thigh. It will give cutaneous branch since it's cutaneous. And perforating cutaneous is arise from S2 and S3, gives cutaneous branch to the medial part of buttock. Pudendal nerve will arise from sacral 2, sacral 3 and sacral 4 and gives structures, supply structures in the perineum, sensory to genitalia, muscular branch to perineal muscles. External uterus sphincter, external anal sphincter is supplied by pudendal nerve. Pelvic splanchnic nerve is arise from S2 to S3, S4 and supply pelvic viscera via inferior hypogastric and pelvic plexus. Nerve to levator ani and coccygeus arise from S3 and S4 and will supply levator ani and coccygeus muscle. So this is all about the lumbar and sacral plexuses. So now in these two videos we have seen about how spinal nerves, 31 pairs of spinal nerves emerge from the spinal cord and how pass into intervertebral foramen and how form roots and how they form roots and how they form spinal nerve and how they form rami, and finally how they will distribute. And sacral spinal cervical spinal nerve 8, lumbar 5, sacral 5 all are participate in the plexus formation, whereas thoracic nerves will not form plexus and directly supply the thoracic region, and the abdominal, the thorax and abdominal region is supplied by segmental or direct branch of the thoracic vertebra. So now next to that, how plexus formities was seen, and how sympathetic ganglia, what type of sympathetic ganglia found in the neck region is observed. The next to that we have seen cervical plexus and formed from C1 up to C4 and portion of C5 and will supply neck and shoulder region. Next to that we have seen brachial plexus. The brachial plexus is formed from C4 to T1 up to T1, so will supply neck, shoulder region and upper limb. So they are very important and will give important nerves. And I have seen the clinical correlation of brachial plexus also due to birth brachial paralysis, like birth brachial paralysis. Next is about lumbar plexus. In this video we have seen lumbar plexus rise from lumbar 4 to sacral 4, rise from lumbar 1 to lumbar 4, then sacral plexus, and in this video we have discussed this one, and in the next video time or video we'll meet by another video. So to get the next video, don't forget to subscribe, share, comment and like this video. So thank you very much for subscribing this video. Have a nice time. Cheer up. Cheers.